Hi, my name is Bianca Noir, and I took this sweatshirt today and I cut it up. You see what I did to it? I got this idea from a brand that does this. A couple of brands do this to their own items. So as you can see, I cut here, I cut here, and I cut here on the shoulders. I cut down the sides. It's black on black, but you can kind of see my hand peeking through, right? What this does is it makes a favorite old sweatshirt that never really fit you very well in the first place a lot more comfortable. And see, you can wear the hood still. And it gives I made the hood a little more space because it was so constricted, and it's really good cotton to begin with. So if you cut it, it's not going to degrade too bad. I've been feeling a little bit more creative as far as style is concerned lately. I have a little more time to myself, and my medication, Q-Pen, is actually working right now. And as you know, I have a lot of issues going on, legal issues. I'm hearing a lot of bad news from my attorneys each time they contact me, and then they tell me I need to make a call, or I need to keep trying something. It's really bad news because I contact them and then they don't act as I expect. They're not supportive. They tell me I need to contact other resources. I mean, I just feel like a mouse on a wheel. I'm seeing some of these influencers right now I've been watching, and I was hoping that I could be supportive to them and help them get to a better place where I'm supportive and they're getting more empowered in things and making better decisions. But what I find is they end up in my feed and they act like I'm making bad decisions, and what I see is that they're going to take me down this downward spiral, which is always what happens. So what I'm saying is, if I see a stripper in my feed, literally doing a stripper diary every day, I'm going to find that interesting. And then when I find out she's actually doing sex work and she actually wants to do this for a living, but she's being abused, but she's being assaulted every day, but she wants that to stop. And that's the thing is, there's no way here. I see her as a trafficked prostitute who is not willing to leave trafficking. And that makes her sort of a part of things, and it makes her sort of victim, but still has interest in where this is going. It's not going anywhere. And so what I have to do is make my decision, okay, I'm going to have to turn this in to my contacts. And what I did is I actually decided to unfollow this girl. And she has apparently way more followers than me, and apparently she's like so much better off than me, and she has her own home and she can buy whatever she wants, and when her stripper shoes break, she can just go out and buy more stripper shoes, and she has a loving partner, and her life is great, except she's being sexually assaulted on a daily basis and puts her foot down. Well, that's not going to stop because she's essentially in a brothel environment. And then I find out another trafficking victim who acts like they are not being trafficked still and says they're a survivor of trafficking, or they are a formerly trafficked person from Lex Wexner's, is on mushroom gummies, which really is like nails on a chalkboard to me as a straight edge who is a trafficked person. And I never said I am untrafficked or out of trafficking, because once you get trafficked, once you've been trafficked, like I see roots of my trafficking since before I was even born. Okay? So this person just, it's so sad because I thought that they were more of like a resource. And I was like, we're going to get through this, right? And now he's on mushrooms. And I'm like, okay, I'm not going to sit here and watch this. And I have to turn that in as well. And I did. Okay, because that to me is an active need or desire to stay in a trafficking environment. Because when you're purchasing drugs, when you're purchasing prostitutes, when you are doing sex work as a prostituted, trafficked victim, you can't really say that you like it. You can't really say that you consent, but don't consent to the abuse. Don't consent to the child trafficking. Only this, only that. When I was a child, it wasn't okay, but now I'm a sex worker and I make my money this way, and I'm not a trafficker, I'm a sex worker, I'm not a prostitute, I'm a midnight ballerina. Okay, none of this is consensual, and none of this makes any sense. You're delusional. You're clearly delusional, and you're all caught up in the trafficking web. And you're still in a web of traffickers, okay? Most people are in this sort of web or on the fringes. I mean, you can move closer. Oops. That person is really, really abusive and is being sexually coercive, and people are, it looks like every time I get pulled into the office, then people start soliciting me on the street when I'm walking down, strip malls. Every time I hang out with this boyfriend, his friends come over, and then they all start asking me to do a certain thing, and I don't want to do it and leave. It's like there's a pattern, folks. You know what trafficking is if you can talk about it. Like victims often are really great resources on trafficking, and what's really scary about it is then you find out that they're not actually rescued. They're still they're like publicly being trafficked, and you see it. So what you need to do is call the resources for them, try to keep in touch with the resources, and if you can't tolerate it anymore, because what it does is it gaslights you, and now they're like encouraging you, hey, I'm doing mushrooms, hey, I'm smoking a blunt right now as a trafficked person, let's all do it together and feel a love between us all, and we're all in a love cult together. I mean, this sounds like a trafficking cult that is being broadcasted to everyone, and innocent people could start following along. So what I want people to know is, I'm not going to change. These other people have to change, because what they're doing, what they're involved in, even if they're a victim, is illegal. The fact that they're a victim is illegal. If they're saying, I'm a victim, but I don't want to change because I like the pot and I want it to be legal. See, that's not going to work, because it's not totally legal what is happening here with the trafficking. It's never really going to be legal because it's trafficking. Okay? And there's usually something else going along with the trafficking, which is one reason why trafficking has very low, like years as far as prison is concerned. It's really low for some reason. You would think it has traffickers, knowing what they do, that they might serve really long sentences, but they don't. And they have to have intent to sell a person. There has to be something more, that they're also murderers, that there's clearly rape, there's, it has to be a lot of other things to make the trafficking really stand out as, okay, this is a problem in our legal system. So when you see somebody who is clearly a sex worker, clearly a stripper, clearly some sort of exotic or erotic, or an account where they're mostly nude, they look barely legal, they don't have that much clothes on, and they don't seem to be doing anything professionally. Not that being trafficked and doing something professionally makes it any better, but for instance, I am trying, they should be trying to achieve a degree. of some kind, in my opinion, or some sort of certificate. If it's a trafficked person and hey, they're trying to become an attorney, they're going to law school, they are becoming a chef, okay, and they're trying to get out of it. See, the problem is the trafficking will follow them, but at least you know they're making an effort. I am constantly trying to improve, and I've have tons and tons of college credits, and trafficking keeps me from achieving a degree. But I'm still a collegiate professional. When I go online and I see somebody that's like, I have 15 years as a stripper, and this is what's right for me, and it might be what's right for you, but I'm getting abused on a daily basis, and people grab my kitty, and people slap my ass, and I'm getting beaten. But it's all okay because I make a fat bag. I mean, no, I'm not going to approve of this, and I'm not going to support this. Everybody I follow, I actually support in some way. So what I do is I get online with these people. I see them, I accept them, I still accept it. I accept that person. I just don't want them in my face every day, and I don't want them thinking that something is going on here between us, and I don't want them thinking that there's this support network here for what they're doing. And basically, I'm going to report this to any legal resource that I have, my legal contacts, and I'm going to probably write to my Congress people because they have a massive following. If they have a massive following and they're doing something illegal and I don't report that, then I'm obstructing justice. So then all my contacts find out I'm letting this slide. No people. Okay, so I've been cutting up my sweatshirts. I haven't been able to wear this one in a long time. If I was wearing something else underneath, like a different color, it would come out better. It would look cooler because there's openings and things, like if I was wearing a white t-shirt underneath or something, or a crop. See, and now I can wear this on temperate days, maybe more in the morning, during summer or fall, and actually I could layer this with another sweatshirt or a thermal, and it wouldn't be too good. Like when you get I hate it when I get a piece of clothing, especially a sweatshirt, and it's like, and then it's really warm, but I can barely move. I hate how, that's why I buy XLs now. I just try to buy everything in XL. And some people don't understand because I'm like actually a small. Like I buy small leotards, but I buy XL t-shirts and I buy XL sweatshirts because I want to be able to move my arms. I feel like I'm like, and it gets too hot and then I have trouble taking it off, and that gives me almost an anxiety attack trying to take off like a sweatshirt that is too constricting. I don't like feeling boxed in. Okay? All right. You guys, seriously, don't flash your drugs in my face. If you want me to look at you, you have to understand, I'm looking at the person. I'm not looking at the drugs, I'm looking at the person. But really, don't put your drugs out there in people's faces, because it just looks like you're trying to get people into what you're doing. That's when you're in a role of an influencer and you've got all this following, when it tips to, wow, now I'm following less people that are following me, and you have this growing following, they are looking to you for what to do because a lot of people are following you. So they're looking to you as an influencer. You're influencing people. That's why it's called an influencer. Don't do drugs if you're an influencer, especially publicly. That's my best advice. I'm not going to look at you if you're doing drugs. I'm not going to support it. If I see drugs or alcohol in your posts, I'm not going to heart it. So, no, because you break my heart that day. You break my heart. But when you, on a different day, are playing a song and you are singing beautifully and there's no drugs or alcohol in your picture and you're not smoking a cigarette, then I will like it. But I'm not going to support your posts where you've given in to your dependency. Okay? I support you as a person, But I'm not going to put that out there because actually the algorithm is going to put more people doing drugs and drinking in my feed. And I'm certainly not going to repost you or restack you with you always being high and drunk and everything else. Okay? All right. Thank you.